Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Stephen Ford. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
So it's a dark time. I won't say it's a dark time. It's a difficult time. It's a challenging time in 40K. Chapter approved is upon us. We got 2 codexes coming back to back.
I literally don't even fucking know what you're talking about.
40,000 years in the future, there's only war.
There is only war.
Spoiler alert for only war.
No, I'm stoked. Mostly because Blood Angels and Demons right around the corner sometime in January.
But isn't this the first time that we've gotten together since our holiday special podcast pre-Thanksgiving?
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The podcast that we always do because we forget the Thanksgiving's the next day.
Thanksgiving's on Thursday, so we always forget a week in advance to tell you there's not a podcast, thus forcing us into doing a podcast.
Clever girl.
That is not a real podcast, but it is a podcast.
Still counts.
So I guess we should spend a couple minutes just talking about our Thanksgiving. Is that standard too? Like, how was it? How was yours, guys'?
I think that I enjoyed. Well, how
many glutens did you eat?
I got 0 gluten.
Ah, shit.
I did get 1 dead battery though, which it was effing hilarious because the very next day I went up to the Honda dealership.
This ought to be good. Okay, now I know. I was like, this ought to be good. And where's the context of I had a dead battery? I'm thinking like, what the fuck battery? What is this battery for? How does this even like factor into this? This is going to be good. Everybody's like, the Honda dealership was like, oh, your car battery. That sucks. I'm sorry.
No, I go out to get in the car to drive 4 hours to my dad's house, and it's like click, 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 and I'm like, no. But it ended up okay. We still went, and I wasn't allowed to drive my girlfriend's car because it was stick, and I made a joke. I was like, oh yeah, stick. That's the thing with the clutch, right? She's like, do you even know how to drive stick? I was like, yeah, that's the thing with the clutch, right? It's like. So you're telling me I get to grip a long cylindrical hard object for 4 hours?
I'm pretty much a pro. So
I feel like I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah, I looked down and I saw that she has 6 speeds. I was like, oh, you got 6 speeds? You fancy? And then she's just like, you're not driving. And I was like, what?
Get out of here.
But it turned out okay. I offered multiple times. I assured her that I could drive stick. I'm not sure if she just wanted to drive or she didn't believe me. But either way. I got to do a lot of thinking on the way, so that was fun. And no, I come back and I take my car up to the Honda dealership, and as soon as I turn in, I was like, "Why is Juice's food truck here?" And I drive by, and it was all set up and going. I was like, "Oh, this ought to be good." So I walk by, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Yo, you want some food?" And I was like, "Yeah, wow, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, well, the dealership buys food for everybody on Black Friday because." They don't have to go anywhere and they have all these customers. I was like, F yeah, I want food.
The perfect time to randomly show up to a dealership when what's for lunch is given out.
Your best buddy Juice is slinging that food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
so
worked out just right. I said, Robbie B, you order what you want. I'm just going to write it down right here.
And I promise there won't be any glutens on it. Everyone put their gloves on.
That's it. New spatulas.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it allergy or not allergy? It's kind of allergy. I don't know. Yeah. No, but it worked out good, and I ended up. It was no big deal. It was just something that they just had to unplug. It was just draining a battery, and normally that turns out bad too. If they're like, "Oh yeah, it was just this thing," and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, but it fried all the wires, and now I have to replace everything." And they're like, "No, we just unplugged it." Like, "Oh, whoa,
there we go. Fuck that thing. I didn't need it anyway."
Yeah, I didn't need that anyway. So it all worked out, and I got free lunch. Boom. There is such a thing.
Kenny, how about you?
Bonet and I chose to do our own family Thanksgiving. Just the 3 of us and our child, Tiny Serendipity the dog.
Hell yeah.
So we cooked for 4 hours, made a ham, made all the stuff. There's a picture on Facebook of our table platter and also Saren's little platter on the table. We have nice Polish pottery, like in the family here, and Saren has her own little Polish pottery dish, and she had her little Thanksgiving alongside us.
Fresh.
So that was pretty low stress, and then I played Diablo 3 for 3 days in a row.
18-hour days. Gotta log the hours.
Pretty sure I logged in a clean 25 hours and 3 days of game time.
Wow. Oh, that sounds like one of my binge watching movie series or television series. So mine, I've hit a new all-time eating high in my life, as much as I've accomplished so far. Thanksgiving this year, I had to do 2 family Thanksgiving. Last year with losing my dad, and this year losing my brother. We decided we did just stuff with my mom last year. This year was able to have a very, very large extended family. My dad's side, there's like 60 of us for all the holidays. That's if 80% of the family shows up. Lord knows what happens if 100% of the family shows up. So, we fed a small army at lunchtime, and we always shoved like 2 or 3 plates, in my face. It's like, oh yeah, I'm nice and stuff, about to be done. And then did dinner with my fiance's family at 4:30. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm truly embarrassed of myself, how much I ate today. Like, this is pathetic. I should be ashamed right now on how much food.
Are you ashamed like how like you ate as much food as like a small village in another country would consume in a week, or that you didn't eat enough?
No. I was ashamed at how much food I had to eat. Like, it's past at this point, I'm like, I was full, wanting to go to sleep, passed out, food coma when I showed up to her family's house. Then we ate for like 2 hours. I ate shrimp cocktail and, nuts and antipasta platters as nibbling. I'm like, and I'm literally walking by the trays and I'm eating them. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm miserable right now. Why am I eating this? And then 40 minutes later, we sit down and have this huge meal. And again, I don't just eat 1 plate, I eat 2. And I'm like, I am at this point, I don't even want to look at anyone. I'm so disgusted at myself.
We have to bring him like a shame hood so he can cover his face and eat in shame.
Yeah. And not even like a hole for the mouth. You have to like go underneath the hood and insert the fork. So yeah, that was great. On a funny, not so funny note, we had car trouble this holiday season, but it was more than just a random clicking noise. It was an $1,100 clicking noise. So where Robbie B got out of his with it's just we clipped this wire and you don't need it anymore and free lunch. I just got an $1,100 bill and no lunch.
I mean, I guess on the positive front, available soon on the Longware web store will be the Juice Hood of Shame.
Hood of Shame, that's it. Oh man, that is hilarious.
Speaking on the Long War front, let me do it now while we're at the top of the show. So we have more information on the Long War Doubles GT here in Southern California, January 20th, 21st, where the entire Long War crew will be here, and we're running a 5-round 2-day Doubles GT. We've got Haspel says he's going to have the new format for 5 rounds published really soon, and we're beta testing the missions over January, the tournament in Colorado. Make sure you guys have the highest level of quality for that. But the big breaking news is the Long War dice are coming back. We got the new hot Vortex pink purple ones, and there are going to be ways to attain them later in 2018. But for now, your best, fastest way to get those is to show up to the event, because all ticket purchases come with 2 gift bags, 1 for each player on the team, and each one of these bags is going to have probably about a dozen dice. So that's the new heat. Just want to let everyone know there's only 4 tickets left. SoCalGamesandComics.com.
Yeah, that's Kenny, Robbie B. Give me a go, no go for launch on this. Will be the first time outside of Adepticon in the last 3 years that the 4 of us are all together in one place.
Correct.
And also the first time in 3 years I've gotten on a commercial flight.
You can tell there's some epic
So
shit's about to go down.
you've flown non-commercially without me knowing about it?
Yeah. With those
Then I flew.
You mean your private helicopter? Okay, I forgot about that.
Yes, I might not know who invented the helicopter, but I still own one.
So it's about to get real when Robbie B says double Tito's and cranberry for me to get on this plane. I've got to make shit happen.
Oh, I'm going to be basically sedated, which I do through the use of alcohol.
And by basically, he means 100% fully sedated.
I have a strategy when I fly. What I do is, usually flight attendants and me get along pretty well because they're like, older ladies and like the grandmas and stuff.
You're very disarming.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, you're so sweet, and I'm like, okay, could I just like put an order in for some booze real quick, and then just when you bring me one, just bring me another one, and then just bring me another one after that, and then
the lady says, sir, or gentleman says, sir, we haven't even finished loading the plane yet.
It doesn't matter.
I know that it's only been 2.5 minutes. I understand that. Please, here's my credit card. Tell me, keep giving me alcohol until it declines.
It's okay. I loaded this card this morning just for this.
Yep. Rob's it was fun.
It's a big deal. I'm stoked.
Yo, and last thing, man, I am pumped not only just for Saturday and Sunday, we can have a blast and watch movie, but dude, I'm pumped for Friday night. Like the social?
Yes. We're going to be doing a social gathering there at SoCal Games and Comics in Temecula, led by our spiritual leader, Mike Haspel, and all things nerd and hobby. He'll be running some awesome stuff. We'll be doing some giveaways, obviously, maybe some 40K games. Maybe we might be giving away an opportunity to have a team be able to play against me and Juice's doubles team.
Yes.
Which we don't have one. We'll just make something.
We're gonna have to.
It'll be hilarious.
There might be some epic only.
I feel like the return of the Blood Angels doubles team has to come back. The one time Juice and I played a doubles tournament,
we had to win it.
We went with Blood Angels.
I feel like there might be some special 4 ears only with no audio recording devices. Poop stories.
There's definitely and for Scherzies, we're trying to bring out the new we're going to bring out the alpha of the Coast Commanders board game, hopefully. Me and Haspel are working on some stuff.
Dude, it's gonna be a good one, man. I'm fully excited.
Enough. Sorry, I was going to say enough of not doing content. Can you guys do some content? But if you have one non-content thing left, let's do it.
I have a million non-content things left, and I'm going to save it for later on in the show.
Rob, what do you can you give us some real news? Because if you let me and Juice keep doing this, it'll just be Blood Angel Codex full reveal download here.
Yep, I've got the new codex in hand. Click here for more.
Yeah, click here. So funny story. Remember last week when I tried my hand at fake news, and I was just like, well, and I started like caveat, you let you say it, and I was like, okay, Blood Angels, next week, and Dark Angels the week after. Turns out I was right. Nailed it.
It's not fake news when your news turns out to be real.
It's not about the intent as much about results.
Yeah. Don't do as I say, do as I intend. I don't know. Anyways,
do as I do as I say.
Yeah.
Where's to live his life by?
Yep, exactly. So next week we have coming in hot, which I'm sure we're going to see some previews for. Codex Blood Angels, $40 hardback.
And confirmed rules for Sanguinius' return is actually confirmed in the book as a Dreadnought. He's coming back as a Dreadnought. Confirmed 100%.
For 40 points more, you can make him a Chaplain Dreadnought.
Why stop there? Why don't you get points for a Librarian?
So, I mean, these are facts. But Robbie B, this is confirmed. Like, I can have chapter approve is in our hands now. This time next week, the Blood Angel book will be in our hands, or the concept of the Blood Angel book will be released on that date.
Nope. It should be out this time next weekend.
Wow.
When are pre-orders this week, right?
Yeah, pre-orders are probably about the time people are hearing this podcast on Saturday-ish. So what is that?
GW has got their little wheels turning.
Mm-hmm.
And then before the first of the year, it is confirmed we will have Dark Angels.
Dark Angels are the next week. Yep.
Wow.
So it's coming in hot. They got
Click
they got
here to find
Primaris.
out if this is fake news.
Nope, this is real news. we only deal in absolutes. Mostly. Then they got their own lieutenant for $25 clan pack. And they're re-releasing the Primaris, like aggressors, hellblasters, intercessors, with, I guess it's the same squad. They're just painted red on the box. I don't know if they come with anything different inside, but so all of those boxes are coming out. I don't see anything different. I'm looking at them and I don't see any blood drops or anything. So I guess you just got to get the upgrade kits, which are also coming out at the same time for $12.50. And then you've got the data cards. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I know you can get behind this one, Juice. Have you heard about these supposedly balanced or more mathematically correct rolling dice that they're coming out with, starting with this release?
The more balanced mathematically. So what are there? There's no pips, just they're painted on.
I don't know. We haven't seen pictures of them yet, but supposedly they're square edged. More, they didn't say precision. They didn't use absolute terms.
Oh my gosh!
But they said that they roll better, and they're $30 instead of the $20.
That don't roll as good.
I don't know.
Man, I tell you what, GW, take it. Matter of fact, I'm down to pay $50 for the excellent rolling dice.
Yeah, can I pay extra? We did
how
a
much for the
report. You remember those dice that they had, right? I showed you those.
Yeah. They were crazy looking, and they had were there bubbles inside?
Yeah, there was bubble, like they were translucent. I think they were the Eldar dice from last release. The last time the Eldar got not this Craft World book that just came out, but like the last one, because the symbols were on a 1. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Holy cow, what's up with these dice?" And they're like, "What? They're just dice." And I was like, "No, look inside them." And there was like, they kind of looked like those Nurgle dice that came out with all like the bubbles and the
sickest dice that GW's ever done.
Right. But they were on the inside of the dice. I was like, those are air bubbles. These things are not going to roll very good at all. And he's like, is that what I was like, oh my gosh. And we started rolling them and they were terrible.
It's so funny is that the dice, the person who owned the dice were literally like, yeah, dude, I never roll them because they roll so terrible. I use them as wound counters. And we're like, It's just like the same concept when I played this guy one time and he had dragon hold out like club dice for the 6.
Dice.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, I'm just known for rolling 6s. Everybody knows that. And I was like, come to find out, that's not true. If you are known for rolling 6s when there's only a 1 in 6 chance or letting it happen because you have these club dice and you always see dragons, it's pitted out that way. It's not, But either way, GW's got their hands full.
Yeah. I don't know what this is about, if this is a new trend, because remember we were always like, hey, put the symbols on the, everybody wants to see the 6.
Better to be known for rolling 6s and 1s.
That's true.
Well, if you roll a 6, you're probably going to roll 1 eventually anyways. That's just my
I have almost 100% chance of rolling a 1 than a 6 right after.
Ooh, GW, I've got some marketing advice for you. Name these dice Match Play. There it is. Everyone's buying them now. That's free. That one's free. The next 20 I got up here is going to cost you.
First one's always free.
Got to get you hooked.
Blood Bowl releases. We got the Almanac. It looks to be a hardcover. The first annual or inaugural, rather. I don't know what's going to come in it. It looks dope, though. I like the cover. Then
Blood Bowl, it's a good time. Foosball is in full effect right now too. So Blood Bowl, the game that kind of went by the wayside for me. I wish I had time to play it.
Oh man, that's like,
how awesome would it be if Blood Bowl was foosball?
Oh my goodness.
Right.
That would be amazing.
I'd play that.
I couldn't imagine.
Do it. foosball table with like the whole like Blood Bowl field on it, all the graphics and all the dudes on your little spinny doodads are like orcs and goblins and shit.
You could like switch them out and paint them. Have to put a sick like gloss coat on them so you don't chip them.
You've been working with WizKids now. Just get WizKids to do it for you.
Oh, that's true.
Fuck, man.
No, Bubble is legit. There's crazy following for that game. I've seen stuff that just leagues stay for months and years for Blood Bowl. Folks are really into it, so it's cool to see. And I think they're taking a page with Necromunda, which is cool to see too, doing the quarterly releases, doing the same kind of thing, like except for it's gangs instead of teams and special characters instead of coaches and things like that. So to kind of take in, and they're doing the cards and everything. So I think Games Workshop's on the verge of having a really robust release lineup that doesn't have to weigh heavily on 40K or Age of Sigmar, because once a quarter they're going to drop the Blood Bowl release. Once a quarter they're going to drop the Necromunda release. So Games Workshop's making moves, like more and more. You see it. They're making moves. We talked about it, and we're going to talk about my thoughts on Chapter Approved, I'm sure, at some point tonight. So there's 3 card packs coming out for the Blood Bowl as well. Those are $25, and a new team, the Elfheim Eagles team for $35, and they got some dice that don't look to be square edged, and they're only $12.50. The Bubble dice are different anyways. And they got their own dugout pitch, $38. That looks pretty neat. I think that is actually everything for Warhams. Now, at some point this month, the Wave 12 and 13 for X-Wing should be out. Rune Wars, they got their demon ogre things just came out this week. Lots and lots of board games hitting the street. Civilization just hit the street. Fallout just hit the street. So lots of cool
Fallout.
Fallout.
Who makes that? Isn't that
FFG?
Wait, Fallout. FFG has a Fallout board game, like Fallout Wasteland Fallout.
Yeah, it's board game though. It's not the tabletop. You're thinking of Mophius is doing
Modifius.
Tabletop. Modifius, yeah, is doing like a tabletop too.
But Modifius is the miniature based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I actually just finalized a deal with them just to paint some new Fallout minis for Modifius.
Oh, there you go.
Let me make sure. Modifius Entertainment. They got a Fallout board game with fabulous looking miniatures right out of just straight out of the Wasteland. Super high quality stuff. Death Claws and mutants, super mutants, and Brotherhood of Steel and their power armor, all that stuff. So we just finalized something. I'm going to be painting some of these things on the stream, giving some Fallout minis away. If you guys didn't know, Fallout is one of my all-time favorite video games experiences. Fallout 3, I would say, is my favorite single-player video game experience in my life. So yeah. I was super stoked to lock this in and do some Wasteland Edition Hobbyist Delights on Twitch really soon.
That means a lot because you're like a million years old. So you played some video games.
I'm not a million years old, but I have played some video games. But damn, am I a million years old in video game world?
Yeah.
Because I guess I am. I had an Atari when I was a kid. Played River Raid and Pitfall as my 2 favorite games.
Oh, Pitfall, so good.
Yeah, Pitfall was the heater. I had my saved up all year for Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. We got $2.50 a week allowance for doing chores. And we're like, we're going to save up and buy one of these things. And like 6 months later, my dad's like, I just bought this for you.
I felt bad. You were doing good.
It's like $5 a week. Oh, God, it's going to take forever. So between me and my brother, because like we were both like putting our savings into it. So love that game too. Played a lot of games. So I guess in the scope, I guess I am gamer old.
I think we all are at this point. We're getting lapped by the video game generation, the iGeneration or whatever it is. I don't even know anymore myself.
You guys ready for a commercial break? Then come back into it and talk about the hot mess that is Chapter Approved.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount, good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
And we're back. Chapter approved. Best 40K changes. I tricked you there with the outro before the commercial break. We're coming in positive. We have outlined some positives, some negatives. We're going to start with the positives. I'm going to turn it over to Juice with the first one. Space Wolf stratagem.
It is a stratagem. Yeah.
Cunning of the Wolf.
Yeah, Cunning of the Wolf. It's actually something that you're going to see a lot in the chapter approved 11 different factions. And so why not start here? So it says using this stratagem for one command point when setting up a Space Wolf infantry unit. You can set this unit up on the hunt instead of placing it on the battlefield. At any point of your movement phases, the unit can join the battle, set it up wholly within 6 inches of any table edge of your choice, and additionally more than 9 inches away from an enemy unit. That's huge. Kenny's been saying this for a while, and we pretty much all agree. The deep strike mechanic that is now here, not deep strike of the old, but being able to be set up after the movement phase is done.
Being able to set up during the game at any point when you want to is really strong.
It means you always go first if you look at it that way. No matter what happens, your unit always gets to go first.
And what I like is that every book is basically getting their own unique version of it in stratagem worlds where you have to pay a resource for it. And this is the OG, like Outflank. Space Wolves are always known for that, you know? Mm-hmm. And so this obviously isn't quite as good as
senses.
This isn't deep strike because they have to come in from a board edge, but you can really design your army around how many stratagems you want to devote to this, because there's no limit to how many stratagems of the same type you can use in pre-deployment. It's only in per phase. So you can build an army around this concept, and it is very strong to have this type of board control and this kind of freedom. It is definitely a positive.
Yeah, and I don't want to get stuck on one topic too long, but do you know what I actually like about doing this, using that verbiage? Because you basically get to be where you want still. You can be in your deployments, your opponent's deployment zone. You can be in your own. You can be in the middle. You know, obviously can't be in the middle of the board, but you're still a lot better off than what you would be. But it's a tactic in the opponent's mind saying, oh, well, I don't want this guy to pop up behind me. So he has to use his resources to line his back table edge, to start maybe psyching himself out saying, I have to bubble wrap, but I have to do it in unconventional manner by saying I need to line. I have to physically take models out of the fight to protect my back edge.
Yep. And the fact that you can come in when you want, right?
Yeah.
Means that you are forcing him to devote resources to a strategy designed to block you for multiple turns, perhaps, that you are literally maybe not even concerned with. You might just
don't even care.
Yeah.
But once you see that they do that, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to hold this here just to keep that, you know, I'm just going to keep this lone wolf, for example, back here just to keep that 20-man block occultist completely out of the way, you know, but I know that if I got it here, he's going to keep that unit in protection. Or conversely, you hold that lone wolf or the unit of wolfen in the hunt phase, or excuse me, in hunt mode, and he doesn't use those conscripts or cultists in the manner in which we're speaking. He doesn't protect his back, and all of a sudden now you're like, boop, I'm popping up. So, you know, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I like that versus you can just show up wherever you want on the board. Sometimes your opponent is just going to say, well, it's too open. I can't try to stop you no matter what. I'm just going to continue on with my plan.
Yeah, if you make it too hard to counter, they won't even try it. And
Won't even
sometimes
try it.
That's not what you want. So let's move on to the next one we really like. There's a twofer, Eldar and Dark Eldar, Webway Assault and Webway Portal. Slightly different wordings, but this is a true deep strike mechanic. This is incredibly powerful. Hit us with the wording on this if someone has it handy.
Well, I actually got it right here. So the only difference between the two is that the Dark Eldar one, you can take beasts in there, but they're both basically worded the same. Use the stratagem during deployment. If you spend a command point, you can set up one Harlequin infantry or Dark Eldar infantry or biker or beast if you're Dark Eldar from your army in the webway instead of placing it on the battlefield. If you spend 3 command points, you can set up 2 such units in the webway. Units in the webway can emerge at the end of any of your movement phases. Set them up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 away from enemy units. You can only use the stratagem once per battle. So if you're going to use it, you might as well go deep on that one, I feel like. But basically does the same thing, but this is the first time we've seen, it's kind of like a...
There is a massive reason that caveat exists, once per battle. Because I believe Deep Strike is the best thing there is. They're giving you a resource expenditure to make units Deep Strike that might not normally have it. They're even giving you the hefty
3 command points.
3 command points for
to get 2.
Right? And you can only do it once. So it's very powerful. Being able to just the right unit with this ability is devastating, very powerful. So these are insane good stratagems for both the Eldar and the Dark Eldar, right?
100%.
Is Harlequin have their own, or
that was the Harlequin one? Well, I read the same.
Are they all the same?
It's the same. He hit on it. It's the same verbiage. The Harlequin version is the Webway Assault, and those are the ones that are limited to not allow beasts, where Dark Eldar allow infantry, bikes, and beasts.
Very powerful. Definitely good. And so all the points make sense. How much resource you have to spend makes sense. Very well written. One use per battle stuff. Like, I would literally be super curious to see what the Dark Eldar and Eldar Harlequin people out there, how they would implement this in the army, like what units they would choose for this. And also what other stratagems they would stack on top of this, to maximize the devastation.
Well, it's not just that. And because remember too, and I don't have specifics. Well, I do have a specific, but I don't have a specific to Eldari. But you set up, this is the movement phase. So you set up more than 9 inches away. You can still augment that movement if you have that ability via psychics or some other shenanigan way.
A classic tactic is you drop in with warp talons and you use warp time to move them again, and then they're in your face.
Warp time is a big one, definitely.
For assaulting units, you're definitely looking for something that lets you move again. But the number one shit for deep striking is shooting. If you have something that can put out some firepower and show up right where you want it, super good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, without a doubt. So those are definitely powerful. We're seeing this mechanic over and over and over throughout.
Everyone is getting a version of this tailored to their thematic fluff. And this is why I love this shit, Juice, too. Like, is in the old book, universal special rule would say something like scout, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because they pigeonhole themselves into saying scout, and you think scout, this is like lightly armored, fast moving, you really sort of paint the narrative of restrictions in the fluff of this universal special rule. By removing that as a universal special rule and making it something like a stratagem, it allows you to rewrite the action to the fluff of that army and give it maybe a slight difference in how it functions, but makes sense. Like, Alpha Legion are Ford operatives. They're not scouting.
Yeah.
Right? They're not infiltrating. But even though you would have applied infiltration or scouting USRs, they are Ford operating, totally different situation, and they have a slightly different way of doing it. I love the flavor that they've been
doing. Dude, I couldn't agree anymore, especially considering like the rule I just read with Cunning on the Wolf. And dude, you deploy them on the battlefield or put them in hunt mode. Like, are you kidding me? That's literally, I'm getting hyped reading this. Like, hell yeah, man, motherfucker, I'm about to hunt the shit out of something. Like, instead of just, you can deploy them or universal special rule outflank.
One size fits all is gone. USRs, you know what I mean? So like, this is the fluff, the narrative.
They're making even the rules themselves thematic, and that's what's awesome to see because it just brings you. This is what keeps us into the hobby, into the game, is rules like this. Maybe putting out a little spoiler like, "Hey, Custodes, HQ coming out soon." Oh crap, they don't even have an HQ. What's up? So like this is the stuff that gets the hobby juices going, and it's cool to see that it's really starting to show up in the rules for sure.
All right, let's move on down our list. Next, a Necron stratagem. This is important to a lot of the Necron people out there. Repair subroutines. We love this one.
Yeah, 2 command points. Using the stratagem at the start of your turn before making any reanimation protocols rolls. Select a canoptic unit from your army that is on the battlefield. That unit gains a reanimation protocol ability until the end of the turn. Huge.
And so if you don't know what reanimation protocols are, I guess that's important to this story here. Necrons have always had some way to roll another save to not die, right?
Yeah, a universal feel no pain before there was it.
It used to just be we be back, right? And
yeah,
it was you killed the dudes, you laid them down, and at the end of the phase, you roll the dice, and if the number was the right number, guys got back up. And so you were definitely dedicating your time to wiping out Necron units back in the old days. Had to wipe them out. And then later, it became closer to feel no pain, right? Where like if they failed their save, they got to roll a dice. And
immediately instead of at the end of the phase.
And that changes it because that means you can still do damage and move on, stun and done them. And now it's back to even better. It's a combination of 2 things now. So now you kill the dude, you put him in a little pool off to the side for that unit. And at the beginning of your next phase, or I guess it's the beginning of next phase after morale. So you can jack them in morale. They get to roll dice equal to how many guys die to see if they get back. But that's not it. Back in the old days, if 5 guys fell down and 2 guys back up, those 3 dudes went into the dead pile. They stay in this little pile for forever until you kill the unit. You see what I'm saying? So like they're still able to be reanimated throughout the course of the game until you wipe the unit out. It's a very powerful little tool, and I would love to see how it applies to units that don't normally have the rule.
So that's why this is so killer, and Kenny, that's why I believe they think this is worth 2 command points, because when you start giving that special ability to units that don't have to pay the points for it, that's when you're talking. When spiders, canoptic spiders, and tomb spiders, scarabs, and all that, when these units that have their own special abilities that they have to pay their points for, my goodness, could you imagine how much wraith spiders, or the
scarabs, tomb spiders, and wraiths are the main.
Yeah, the tomb spiders. Do you know how many points as an upgrade it would actually cost to put reanimation protocol on them? I would say at least 25.
But I don't think they can run in units, so I think they're single model units. So like for them, they die.
I'm pretty sure. I'm actually wanting to look. I believe that they can have their units of 1 to 3 now.
Oh, if they still have that, that's awesome. But it's great for wraiths. Wraiths have always had, they're 3 up and multiple, but could never get back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's struggling to make their Necron army super strong, this is a stratagem that help you. But you obviously have to build your army around it. Like now you do take a couple of kinetic units, so super strong. And I knew something like this was coming. Like I just knew in my heart, I was like, man, they're gonna get something cool to bring these units back. And let me tell you, I've played against Necrons in 8th edition, and it does get a little bit frustrating if you're like, damn, if I can't put the firepower down on this unit to put it down, I don't even try.
Mm-hmm.
But now to know they have this pocket, like I can play this if you don't finish it off and my guys might come back. It's a lot of pressure. So let's move down the list. Harlequins, this is Juice's personal favorite. Prismatic Blur.
Prismatic Blur. After this unit advances, infantry unit advances, Harlequin infantry unit, you get a 3F invulnerable. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many Harlequin units that are in there have special abilities that say you get to perform actions after you advance? That is Unreal.
I think it's super solid because you can just go up the gut with stuff now, and you bait them with something masterfully up the gut, and you can be like, all right, surprise.
I got even more intel for you guys with Malefic Lords becoming 80 points and sort of unspammable.
Mm-hmm.
One of the only ways to get around 3 invulnerables was some pocket smites. Right? You know what I mean? Like that was like, oh my God, I need to smite these fools real quick. And you know what I'm saying? And smite's not going to be nearly as big a deal. And they said there was going to be another smite FAQ in the Q1. So being able to throw 3 invulnerables on a unit as it comes in hot and potentially can still charge out to advances, sick.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Robbie B, but you guys are going to see the sick battle report that we've done with a full Harlequin army before this chapter approved came out, and them without a 3-up invulnerable are still hard as shit to deal with. The entire army has 4-up invulnerables as it is, whether it's down to their bikes, to the Harlequins, or they have 4 or 5s, I can't remember. But man, these units are the truth, knowing that now they get storm shields. That's legit.
Sometimes you don't fail a 3-up invulnerable. That's the truth. Sometimes you'll have those games where you just can't fail one.
Yeah. And another thing too is with Kronos out there, the ability to just slap this down on something without having to cast it or have anything go bad is pretty clutch as well.
And to clarify, Kronos, the anti-psychic army, a lot of these buffs previous to this stratagem are psychic based.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a decline potentially on the meta of the field as Kronos climbs, because people were already playing Tyranids. I saw plenty of them at SoCal Open. And now the same old armies just got better, like with Kronos. Like it's going to shift the meta with certain elements not being as spammable. I can definitely see Harlequins, possibly making a play at being a fucking good ass army. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they need it too. They're so awesome looking. It's just like a hobbyist delight when it comes to painting these guys up and hobbying on these guys, because there's so much room to do all sorts of different effects on them. It's going to be really cool to see these guys on the tabletop being played maybe, a lot more prevalently than we've seen in the past. Because in the past they came out and we're like, oh, these are kind of cool. I mean, these are cool. They kind of might work. And then we never saw them again for like 2 years.
Yeah, there was like some alpha strike potential, but give me some balance always.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so here's what this is definitely going to be a crowd favorite. This next one we're going to discuss. Right? Because who doesn't have that friend in 40K that is literally an orc?
I think we all do.
The guy who yells "wah" at every event, who's like literally
at the bottom table every fucking event, and everybody
never
else
drops out, plays all 8 games.
Absolutely, everybody is tired, ready to go home, and this dude screams at the top of his lung "wah" on game 6 like it's a fresh sunny Monday morning, or just Saturday morning. So yeah, everybody's got the orc fan.
And so this rule is called Mob Up, and it's akin to the OG mob rules that, like, a good friend of the show, Marcus Parkus, who used to be a big orc guy. I've seen him do a million times back in 3rd edition. Little shout out to him. He's old, Rob, but someone who has the rules for that, read it down for us.
So 1 command point: use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select 2 orc infantry units from your army that are within 2 of each other and have the same data sheet, i.e. 2 orc boys or 2 storm boy units. If one of the units has 10 or more models and the other has 10 or fewer, the 2 units merge, and for the rest of the battle they are counted as a single unit for all rules purposes.
Dog. My man. So walk me through it again. When does this stratagem play?
So it's the end of your movement phase. So it's before you do additional effects or anything like that. So you have
an opportunity to move close to each other first.
Mm-hmm.
So this is amazing. Here's why. You have 3 or 4 big groups of orcs running across the table. Somebody starts mowing one down, takes it down to from 30 to 9 models or 10 models left. Now you can say, do I play 2 command points? Make sure these guys don't kill themselves, because now I get to add 9 wounds to this other 30-man mob, and they could be almost 40 models.
Or maybe it's Well, okay. So you could even do it the other way. So say they got blasted, and you're like, whatever, I'm going to roll it. All right, I lost 9 dudes. Now I'm down to 9. Oh, I don't want to lose these 9 dudes during my turn. Let me mob them up.
There's so much applications to, you know what I mean? Like to keep these.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like being able to just absorb. Think about this too. So say this 30-man mob that absorbs 9 guys, 39 models. Right. And then they shoot this other 30-man model unit. And then it absorbs those 9 guys the next turn.
Yeah, I would like to see how the FAQ is going to come out. And you know what I'm smelling? That's an anti kill point denial unit.
I was hoping you'd mention that because I was going to say you literally, if you're playing a kill point mission or or whatever, where it says like you take the power level of the unit, you destroy, and that's your kill points. If you're saying right now, as it stands, with no FAQ, if I am combining units, it's not saying destroy 1 unit for victory point purposes, it's saying they're combined. I literally once had 3 units equaling this power level, and now I actually have 1 unit equaling the old power level. You actually can snipe straight up kill points from people with this if un-FAQ'd.
Yeah, I mean, in just how it sounds like you're going to be able to drown out kill point / command points, or excuse me, power levels.
Yeah, I think most people are saying you get the power level when you kill the unit. So if you say a 30-man mob of orcs is power level 10 or whatever, and they whittle it down to 9 dudes, and then you absorb those 9 dudes to the other orc mob, that's 30. It's still just power level 10. It doesn't go to some new level as per its status state. And then you absorb another squad. You stolen potentially 20 points from these guys and give them the opportunity to regain those. Really strong.
Another thing, another cool application too is like the sledgehammer effect, where you jump to their line, maybe smash into them, get beat up. Then you're like, let me absorb this, and these other D's are right behind them. Let me absorb them all, smash into them again. You just keep smashing into them with like the bigger.
And only an orc player is going to sit down and do all the permutations of all the situations they're going to use it in, and I can't wait to see.
Yeah,
these dudes. I mean, it's fluffy, it's thematic, it's akin. The second time during this podcast that they have sort of referenced an OG way of doing something. Like, fucking love it. Let's move on. Another crowd favorite, always been Sisters.
Oh lordy.
Sisters martyrdom, soul burst attack. That's the whole wording.
So this is a really interesting mechanic to see them trade soul burst, but put a cost on it basically for the Sisters. Let's see. So it's a 1 command point. Use a stratagem at the end of the phase in which Adeptus Sororitas character has been slain. Oh, it's a character. Well, it's still good because it doesn't matter. Remove that unit from the battlefield on a D6. Roll a D6 on a roll of 2 up. 1 unit from your army with an Act of Faith ability can perform an Act of Faith now. So you can do an out of sequence movement, an out of sequence shooting. Like there's a lot of applications here, and there's no
D3.
distance.
Yeah, heal D3 wounds. Make an assault launch an assault. I mean, it is all the same verbiage as Soul Burst. Except Soul Burst just got nerfed to where saying, you cannot do this unless it is your phase, your turn. This specifically says this happens when it's a unit has been slain. So that can be at any point in time. And as Kenny pointed out earlier when we were talking, we like this verbiage and we like how this is an out of sequence things for 2 reasons. One, it costs resources that you build into your army. It's 1 command point. Furthermore, after you lose a independent character, after you burn your command point, so you've now lost 2 things, there's a chance you roll a 1.
And you might have to burn another command point to re-roll it.
Absolutely. So there's no guarantee this is going off. This actually has the potential to take a good amount from you to make this go off. But
it's a balanced use of resource management.
Absolutely. This is one of the fairest things that we can think. I love this for a single command point. It would be useless if it was for 2 command points. Not useless.
And there are ways to
but
build your army around you. There's ways to put characters in situations to tempt the opponent to kill them in missions where it doesn't matter if you lose a random character, to shoot them with a unit in your army you've designed to be the unit that shoots at a face.
Yeah, are you kidding me that this isn't a blatant thing to say, hey, for everybody who didn't think a canonist was worth it, except to chill in the back, now she might be, or your saint. Every time the saint is slain. So get this. The keyword says slain. If I'm not mistaken, when the saint is slain before she is slain the second time, that still counts. It doesn't matter that the saint gets back up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might stack. I'd have to have that book in my hand, but outside of the saint, there are multiple ways to utilize this. These types of stratagems that are very powerful. The way I like to play 40K right now is what I do first is I go to the stratagem section, find my favorite stratagems. Then I go to the rules section and the unit section of the codex, and I start picking units to maximize those stratagems.
I find myself doing that with the NIDS more than anything more than Astra Militarum. The core is so good that I like sprinkling in stratagems as an extra. Kenny, I'm right there with you. I literally build list on turns, knowing that basically turns 1 and 2, I'm going to blow through my command points because I am setting up combos, and what I love about, not to take away from the sister sororitas, but what I love about the NIDS being able to do it is that they're not these combos, air quotes, aren't these 5 command point combos that are, the Death Blossom effects. They're literally just sprinkled in. When this unit does this, if you so choose, they'll take extra damage. That's amazing. That takes that character with those weapons from a solid 7 to a 10 for 1 turn. I mean, it's definitely stratagems are, the Swiss Army knife of what your army was missing. So I love the fact that the sisters are able to get something as clutch as this.
Let's move off of stratagems for 1 second. Maybe conclude the positive section because it's gonna get salty too, guys.
Us.
So we have yes, we are some of the saltiest. We have some relics here that Juice brought up that were amazing movement manipulation relics. We've got Necron 1 and a Deathwing 1, Necron Veil of Darkness and Deathwing the Beacon. Let's the rules on those.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the Veil of Darkness and the Death Watch. So the Death Watch both have icons that the bearers can manipulate people on the table. So real quick, the beacon for Death Watch. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, the bearer can use the beacon to teleport a unit to his position. When he does so, select a Death Watch infantry or bike unit that is on the board. In either case, remove the unit and set it up wholly within 6 inches of the bearer, 9 inches away from the unit. Enemy units, and then conversely, the Veil of Darkness does the exact opposite. A unit that is within 3 inches of the veil, the bearer of the veil, can be removed from the battle, and then furthermore set up anywhere else on the battlefield, 9 inches away from the enemy model.
So one guy brings people to him, and one guy ejects people flings them away from him.
Yep, and these are both once per battle relics that can be used. So guess what? The reason why they're a one use only is they're free. You don't have to use resources. You don't have to use a command point. You don't have to worry about rolling a 1 and this ability not going off. So I like the fact that this is a one use only for freezies. And these armies don't have stratagems, warlord traits, anything else like that you can use before the game starts to give yourself that deep strike, random, wherever you want maneuverability. So now, Robbie B has stated there is 11 units that factions that are in this chapter approved, 4 of which got stratagems to be able to use command points to pop up anywhere. I love the fact that 2 other ones, that's more than 50% of the factions that are in this book have the ability to manipulate where they end up on the battlefield.
Yep, for sure. That this is all that thematic kind of rule set that we're going to start seeing probably in a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something cool like this, like, you know, Descent of Angels and Blood Angels, or, you know, I don't know, surprise bitches for Dark Angels. Like, we were watching you the whole time.
Gotcha, bitch.
You know, so there'll be all sorts of cool stuff there, or like, you know, Arrival of the Deathwing or something cool, Belial, or I don't know. I think it's dope. I really like these narrative kind of fluffy rules that are kind of built into everything here
That actually matter.
Mhm.
God.
Yeah, and I would like to say that to sum up how we all feel, as I think it was Confucius or Gandhi once said, "It can't get no righter."
I'm just Googling that to
you
confirm.
know, it's like
Yep. You're right.
Confucius. It is Confucius.
It was Confucius. Okay. I mean, you know, mistakes sometimes. I just want to make sure I shout out the right people.
You're right. First, I should go with your gut.
Yep.
So let's let's move into our shit list, aka the salt list.
I want to spearhead this one.
Please.
All right. So first off, I kind of got a positive and a negative, and I'll let you guys put the bread on the bottom of this one. So first off, last week I came in kind of a little hot. I don't know if it was last week or week before. I was like, Games Workshop should make chapter approved free. This is bullshit. We've been buying all these books. I'm tired of it. Then I started thinking about it while I was not allowed to drive during Thanksgiving. And I was like, wait a minute. I cracked the code. This is what they're doing. They are putting out chapter approved. Chapter approved is the new rule book. They're going to put it out every week, every year. They're never going to come out. Well, not never, but they're never. Okay, so they're not going to be putting out as much core rules because they can just update it with this. And even Juice pointed out on the front of the book, it says 2017 edition. Like, these are going to be an annual thing. They don't need to come out with new core rules when they can just update them every year and sell us another $40 book. I can respect that. It's a business. You got to do business things to put things out. Eventually, they're not going to have any codex books to come out with, and they're just going to have to do the splash release thing, and then also rely on stuff like this and their quarterly releases of Blood, like Blood Bowl and Necromunda, and kind of lead on that. Like, it seems like they're transitioning, and I can respect that. And I think it's a bold move, and I kind of dig it. So, okay, I'm cool with paying for this book. This book has a lot more content in it than match play stuff as well. We got VDR, we got open play data sheets for the Land Raiders. There's stuff in here about objectives. There's narrative ladder campaigns. There's a lot of content in here that we're not even.
Rob, can I ask you, if GW does their job right with the rule set, wouldn't it mean that it would be an end of them having to make core rule books, and so they'd have to come up with a way to still get paid, right? If they were perfect at their job, like the rules were perfect, they would never sell us another piece of literature of rules.
I'll answer your question with a question. Don't you think it's a little weird in 2017 that we still have to buy light bulbs? The first light bulb literally still has not gone out.
That's true. Well, business, yay!
Yay! Jobs are getting scarce. Somebody's got to have a job in a couple of years. Yes, I agree. There's you got to sell stuff as a company. You got to sell stuff. And we've all made that comparison, with the bus in the movie Speed. I don't know what would happen, but, Games Workshop seems to be on the up and up as far as financials and everything like that. Now, the negatives, it is effing hard to figure out how much things cost and even the right things and what points to pay for them between this book and all the other books you need for an army.
It's clown cheese. And I say that with no caveat or any silver lining. It is fucking clown shoes that we are back to 7th edition, that the only way for me to be able to siphon through what point values, what this, is to, I have to actually, I've been telling everybody, it's kind of like my phrase, everyone has to own chapter approved. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care. You have to own chapter approved, period. GW is making us buy this book. If not, you can't actually play the game correctly. So the reason why I say this too, point values. Now, point values for anybody who plays 40K. Now, I guess you can play open play and where it is more power levels. That's fine. But point values are not just for open play or for match play. It literally, if you want to play a friendly narrative game, and you say, hey, how do you guys want to build the structure? Oh, well, let's use this point value. It's not just have to be a competitive aspect. Things in here are just different. And what I don't like about it is there is in the back of these books, in the back of this book, there is literally over the course of 8 pages, there is 1 million lines of text from Forge World to Chaos, Orcs, Space Marines. And so we're going to break this down. I am going to build a list right now. And I'm not going to build something that I know so well, so deep to my heart, like NIDS or even Astra Militarum, because I'm used to throwing those numbers around. I want to play a Chaos list. I'm going to buy Chaos. I am going to do this. I am new to the game because what does GW always say? We have to bring new people into the game. We have to do this. I open this damn book up, and now I have to reference, if I'm smart, I have to reference this chapter approved before I look at anything because I have to start jotting down and making notes. Okay, if I want to use Chaos Space Marine Sorcerer with Jump Pack or Sorcerer with Terminator Armor, that point cost is completely different than in my Codex. But if while I'm building my list, if I want to use a Lord in Terminator, a Lord in this, those points are the same in the other book. So now I'm literally flipping back and forth, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. War gear, same exact way. Are you kidding me? I have to figure out this force stave is 8 points cheaper in this, but the autocannon is not the same point cost either. Let me just spoiler alert. Also, what this says on page 115 at the bottom, it says the next major GT, whoever wins it, their points in their army is wrong. Like, we're already having issues, guys, right now with how 8th edition is laid out, how the structure to build a list to make sure that rules have been checked, double checked, points costs, this and this. This chapter approved has just made it 100% harder to try to make a list. Now, I hope that with all the massive changes that are having to be made, because this is still a new edition in all reality. This is still 7th hasn't been gone for 9 months now. So trying to be optimistic that the next time in the next 5 months or less, because if that's what they're saying Nova is, or Adepticon, we're saying we're 6 months away. That is sooner than people think. I hope that the book will not be this point cost laden in the back. I love the fact, give us stratagem, give us special rules, give us rule changes that you want, like, for example, no targeting characters. I love that. Thank you for saying that you can't rhino snipe people anymore, that you are down to allow, a single scout hiding in the middle of nowhere, tucked up in the corner. No one can see him. He's kissing his own ass goodbye. But because he's the closest model, Gilliman standing proud, standing tall right next to him, he cannot be shot at unless you have sniper weapons. So I am good with giving us rules. But this point value shit is clown shoes.
Eloquently stated. I've been disappointed with the layout of all the books, just from a how to acquire the knowledge I'm seeking perspective. I think they've been doing a pretty poor job there. And and the only thing I can assume is that they're obstinate, that they don't like match play. And so they make the rule book as difficult for me to fucking look at as possible. Like, I have it never was like this. You know what I mean? Never has it in any of the other editions. When I open up a book, Kenny, I loved how you highlighted earlier in the show, or maybe it was during the webcast, they go as far to put power levels, aka the point values of
open play and stuff like that. Other game systems, that you can.
They put the power level in the data slate, but
with no caveat. With no caveat of saying, oh, but that doesn't include war gear, but that doesn't this, that doesn't that. Like literally, it just says, here's all the information here's the number that you need to build a power level army.
And in the back, and I said it from the beginning, and then all the way in the back, all the points. Like for match play, you can use this bullshit in the back. Like GW clearly wants to not have points in their game system. Remember Age of Sigmar when it dropped, didn't have points. That was a disaster. They fixed it. So they gave us points, but they still did it like to me, like they were being little bitches about it. Like they're like, we put points in the back. I mean, but you should play this new power level thing. We think it's really cool. No, I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know anyone who gives a fuck about power level. Yeah.
No, I love the fact that power level is used for kill points. That's amazing, but that's all it needs to be, So, and again, I believe that this is another reason why a lot of people enjoy listening and stuff like that is because we are going to shoot it real and maybe say the things that are on your minds. There's a lot of stuff in this book that we love, but the concept of nonstop not being able to trust a book that GW puts out, I do not like it. No Sam I am. I do not like Green Eggs and Ham.
The silver lining or the future, looking toward the future though, this does make it seem like GW is going to start doing seasons. Like we haven't even begun season 1. I would say chapter approved January, season 1, Warhammer 40K 8th edition. Mm-hmm. And we are going to have we're going to have like Q1 and a Q4 FAQ update. And then in December, we're going to have the rules for season 2. And if GW like embraces that concept, it could be fucking amazing. And the changes between seasons will become less and less aggressive as we attain perfection in the core rules. So they'll just be like little updates, new patch updates, this and that. And so then it would definitely, if you get all the information between January and December to play the new season, and then they drop season 2 on us next December, 2018, it changes and it could potentially change the strength. Let's say all through season 1, it's all Eldar and Harlequins all day, every day. They have an opportunity in season 2 to adjust that, not to nerf them perhaps, or nerf them, maybe make other things better, other counters, things we've always wanted GW to do back in the day that they never did. Like people were playing people played a 10-year-old Orc Codex, man, like and a Dark Order Codex.
It just continue to do the things that they're doing now, just more on a regular pace. And I can only imagine they're literally, with the edition just dropping, they are having to hurry up and fix everything and try to make everyone happy in a short amount of time. Completely understandable. We're looking to the future, but you can't think that
I'm salty today, but
that's right. That's all I give a damn about. And you have to know that we're going to shoot it to you straight and say it's shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a huge thing, and that's why I like being able to give my opinion like that, which is pretty cool. But you're right; they are coming out of the gate. They're doing the things that we have suggested over the years, like coordinating with Adepticon, coordinating with Nova Open, not, dropping these things and a week later, there's a major event, that is awesome to see. And they can even be on the ground floor at these events, going around, getting the pulse of the community, getting feedback from folks. I mean, not that it's going to change anything if it comes out the next week. Maybe it will. We don't know. But at the end of the day, this is a book. It says 2017 on it. It says in here, updated values, December 2017. This is our new, air quotes, living rule set for Warhammer 40K 8th edition, which apparently they don't even want to say an 8th edition from what we've been hearing.
8th edition is not even real. It's Warhammer 40K.
8th edition is a myth.
It's a myth. It's just chronologically, it's the eighth time they've done this.
Yes.
Right? That's all that. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And so, like, Rob, I'm reminded of the last time GW left me. The hurt was so much. I don't know if I can't even anymore, right? So that's the only reason the salt is here. GW, if they consistently do what they say they're about to do, if they do these things through 2018, through 2019, I will literally not be salty anymore, because that's what we've been asking them to do for 10 years. The hurt's too strong when you left us. You know, like me and Juice got an apartment together. Like, you know, it was a lot of things happened, you know. But now
It was a cold winter.
it was a cold winter, right? But
Had a
so
couple of-
it seems like they're about to do the things we want to do, but they have not yet, because it has to happen at least one more time. We have to get to December. We have to get 2 annual FAQs. We have to get the seasonal update. You do me one time consistently through 2018. I'm back. We're moving back. We're moving back into the same apartment, GW, and we're kicking Juice out.
Now,
There it is.
the two things we still need. We need some game aids. I need my aids on the table to help my game. I need it. Need an army builder.
You remember that one
Yeah.
time we spelled AIDS wrong for like 16 articles?
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Here at the Long War, where we always keep it classy. Now, and the one thing that I want to say is actually something that I preached on, and actually we had a heated debate on the show when 8th edition, the new edition, just came out. Was I believe that I love the idea of a evolving system that gives out books constantly for us to buy for updates. I love that. For the love of God, instead of changing points, if you want to print points in the back of codexes, don't pull out a book that nullifies some of the information and some of this and that. I just put out a new Astra Militarum book every 6 months. I will just spend $40 with a 15% discount every 6 months on that book that I want. Like, that's not even a question. But GW, I will not charge you for this one either. For the love of God, it's this simple. The only thing that you give away free are the point costs in a PDF, Excel spreadsheet, chart, graph,
EPUB
download, Etch-a-Sketch picture taken of something. You just say you can
crudely
download it.
photographed iPhone picture. Like,
Yeah, a random text message. It doesn't matter. The only information that is given out free, you have control of this information at the drop of a dime. You don't have to publish anything. You don't have to anything. You literally only have to task an employee. The guy can even be a tip agent employee. He doesn't even have to be on the books. You just say, hey, go in today, not tomorrow, not this. Today, the points change for gene stealers. Pure strain gene stealers. Today, the point change. Now we as a community wake up every morning like we do most of us do during fantasy football season. We wake up every morning, pull open our phone, see, oh, my player is projected for this today. He was projected for that yesterday. New information has come up. Somebody is hurt. It's an evolving point changing system. But guess what doesn't change? This book that I have in my hand, these rules, until you decide to change the core concept of the codex. The points are always fully changeable. We wake up every morning and say, hey, it's our morning coffee. I am going to see what's on CNN today. Oh, excuse me. Let me sit open and scroll through, because today's Monday. Any changes will be pink today. Today's Tuesday. Any changes will be orange. And you just tell me my fucking army is more or less expensive.
People are more than willing to alpha and beta test the rules for you, GW, but let us do it for free. What Juice just gave you right there is the ballerest shit ever. We will alpha test and beta test these fucking EPUB downloads, just the rules, all year, gladly, for free. And then the biannually or whatever the Q1, Q4 FAQs can update the how official these are, and then chapter proof puts them in stone. Like, oh my God, Juice.
Yeah, it is not. So then there's no salt of feeling like I have to this half of this book, because you want to know what I love? Tell me, I got a whole closet full of old 40K books. I want to know that this book is no longer needed. It goes from the stack that I read and have access to the stack I don't give a shit about, but I'm too much of an enthusiast to throw it away. But I cannot stand where, only half of this is good, or only 80% of this is good, the other half is bad, and I have to buy this other book to validate the other 20%. So we have...
We went positive, negative, positive. I think we are literally good at this now.
Yeah, this is
So
how we do.
We didn't spend an hour being salty, only 15 minutes. And we still,
really
concluded on positive.
Yeah. Are you ready to end on a couple negative, shitty traits that are in this book?
I don't even know. Maybe we should just say them and let them look it up so they can feel their own way.
Yeah. I
don't want to tell you how to feel, community. So I want you to look up and chapter proof when you get it this weekend. I want you to look up the clavis. I want you to look up enhanced reanimation.
Just do me a favor. Don't Google search clavis.
No.
Something 40K related might not come up.
Yeah. I want you to IRL book in hand that one. Enhanced reanimation protocol, clavis, and death to the alien. I want you really just to look those up. I want you just to experience those rules, feel how you're going to feel about them, and then post up on the Long Word Network on the Facebook group and let us know if you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That way we technically ended positive, guys.
Sure did. Well, we don't have Haspel to take us out, so I guess I'll just do it old school. Thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure you head on over to longwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.